Hi, everybody. I'm the Padre, and this is the Pritch.
Morning.
It's Pritch and Padre, or Padre and Pritch, whichever you choose to use. Actually, someone told me, how do you get that? And you told them YouTube. They asked me, but you said to the lady YouTube.
Yep.
And I don't know if we changed it Pritch and Padre, or it's still the Padre and the Pritch.
Whatever it is, it's if they're going to watch it, they'll watch it.
Yeah, okay. So each and every week we try to bring up some new topic and then pass along something good about your life or something in your life that needs to not to be changed or bettered, but to be looked at, maybe evaluated by you if you need to make some kind of change in your life, or to at least have some outreach to someone else that you can do some good for.
Right.
So I
That was good.
no, it wasn't.
That's great.
So we're headed for a new month now called May, and May Day. I read this the other day. It's Making God Real by some children. So one said, Jesus and God both have a circle over their heads. They try to walk careful and stay right underneath it because it lights up.
Wow.
And they live in heaven, and sometimes God comes here, but most of the time he stays on high. You see, in our church, he stays way on the top part. He never sleeps at night, even though people are always asking lots of questions. So,
The faith of a little child, right?
yeah, and you get expressions all the time, and just that whole halo business. If you look in all of those old, in churches where the stained glass windows are, and holy cards,
Right.
the halo is a symbol and a sign of sanctity, or instead of you and I who have little dark clouds, that once in a while storm and rain on our head, people who are holy or spiritually gifted have this halo. Now, I don't know if you know the program that I've been on a couple of times in New York and Sirius Radio is called The Broken Halo.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of it?
No, but that's great. I like
Isn't that a good? The Broken
The
Halo.
broken halo.
So you and I got chunks taken out.
Oh, yeah. Well, I always think of Donald Duck with the devil on one side and the angel on the other one, and both of them are going,
What? Oh,
sneezing. So, devil, angel,
Yeah. No, but what is the point of that?
just sneezing, achoo, achoo.
Achoo.
Well, because
No, I got the achoo.
Well, do you know that some people?
I'm serious now.
I am too.
Okay.
Some people in ancient, I'm not making this up, you could Google this, it's Googleable. Some people think that when you're sneezing the devil out of you. Have you ever heard that?
Oh. Yeah.
See?
But, with the,
Are we in trouble now?
with the plague, back
Oh, yeah.
the bubonic plague, people sneeze because when you said in German, Gesundheit, or
Yeah, God bless you.
God bless you,
Yeah.
it was, the devil's leaving. Okay, I get it now.
Okay.
Hey!
He went to the College of North America in Rome, folks. He ascended to be a big wheel. Never mind.
I had an angel on each side.
That's exactly you did.
I didn't have to chew.
Yes,
I
they
chew.
were issued in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, many years ago in the 40s. But that said,
Halos?
No, the little angels on both sides.
Oh,
epaulets.
okay, yeah.
But what I was going to say is, when you think back, the rosary was invented during the times of the Black Plague because it was I'm not making this up. It was a way of warding evil and the devil away from you, and that would be in a health crisis. So I actually increased my level of saying the rosary quite extensively during COVID because I was praying for my family, my extended family, my friends, my extended friends. And so I have to say that we made it through.
These were your friends, so
Yeah.
your family, that's one.
Right.
Friends, 2, 3. So you had about 5 people? 6, 5.
One of them from Cape Girardeau, still praying for Big Dan Pfeiffer down there. He played for the football. He was my roommate in college. Him and Aunt Face Martin, that was his real name.
No,
Aunt
no.
Was. He
Was
was a
not.
firefighter in Hazelwood, Missouri.
Aunt
Face
Face.
Martin, yeah.
Did he
played
have a
football.
little thing like
He was
that?
the nose guard on the football team.
No, but did he have like an anteater?
No, he was just.
That was his real name.
That was his name was Ant
well,
Face. He
it's-
called himself Ant Face.
He
He was-
could have been named Schlitt.
He he walked into a friend of ours, a wealthy Johnny Hessel, very wealthy attorney in St. Louis, and he goes to his assistant. He goes, "I'm Aunt Face Martin. Maybe you read about me in the papers. I'm a heroic firefighter." So,
And was he? Or
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh, he was.
yeah, he was.
Good.
Aunt Face Martin, and he goes, "Maybe."
Now, what were their parents like? Locusts and
All of our all of our parents would come to Parent Day, and
and say, "Oh, which
there
one
was
is your
5
child?"
We lived on Good Hope in Cape Girardeau,
Oh,
with a house on Good Hope, and there was 5 enormous big guys, not a lot of brain wattage because most of them was PE majors, you know. So, but I didn't mean to insult nobody, Coach. Now, don't start in on me now. I don't want to hear about that. But what happened was, 5 of us lived together, all linemen, and we laughed. Oh my gosh, we had fun. Derringer Minton, his name was Hog Minton. Family owned a hog farm, and then Big Dan Pfeiffer played for the Chicago Bears, and me and Aunt Face. Yeah, so there it was. And let me show you what we all look like.
yeah. No, you didn't look like that.
Lineman. Anyway, but when I love growing up in the Midwest, and I love the people there. They were, oh my gosh. When I went back to speak at Southeast, I think about what we were just talking about, and that is that there's ways to find yourself connected to the greater good of the community that you grew up in. And I go back and I tell the kids, I said, I talk about neuroplasticity and neurodiversity, and that I was a learning different kind of person. And that neuroplasticity is what you and I have now, because you're in your 80s and I'm in my 70s, and we're still working, bringing light and laughter and joy and fun. And that's what you got to do. Stay active, be creative. I don't know if you know this, folks, but a kid with dyslexia said reactive and creative come from the same letters. Pretty amazing. And you don't want to be reactive. You want to be creative. Every day creating. So when we're done here, I'm doing a thing for the Bay Area Creative Foundation. With
Then you can tell them about creation.
Yes.
Creation is, I always remember this because to take it apart in the scriptures is fun. It's facere aliquid ex nihilo, to make something from nothing.
Wow.
And
Say it again. Let me hear that.
to make something from nothing. And that's what the scripture says, that when God created, he made something from nothing.
Wow.
So when I talk to the graduates at the Art Academy,
Right.
I've used that before, because art, you can be creative in art, but whether you're drawing a picture or, there's something, you use some kind of other instruments along the way.
Right.
To do your art, or you use some kind of materials to do your art. But it doesn't take away from, if you take a bunch of rags and make a quilt, you're making something that wasn't there before from nothing. All these little pieces
Wow.
there's a fancy word for those little things too, but when you put together a quilt like that, you make something from nothing.
Well, I had a friend, and I talked to him one day, Dennis Gallagher. He's since left us, and rest in peace, good man. But he did huge, gigantic, abstract sculptures by welding. And I asked him one day, I saw him, he put them in all kinds of different places, Gallagher. And Trish Branson, his wife, was amazing at bringing light to his incredible creativity. And Dennis, I said, Dennis, how do you have the self-esteem to know when you're done with a piece of abstract art? And he just stared at me. And he's in front of these huge, looming, big things. And he goes, let me get back to you on that. 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 weeks later, he calls me. And he goes, you have to have incredible sense of worth to walk away knowing you're done, and it's not important what they think. Whether it sells or not, you've created something for you, for them. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, they may eventually.
Right.
And I said, wow, that's pretty good. He goes, ask Leonardo da Vinci. Right? Sometimes you're not appreciated. A great artist one time, Cezanne, was asked, he was crying in the gallery. And they said, why? Why are you crying? Mon papa, why are you crying? His son was with me. He goes, they've put some of my art in frames. They like it. You can't buy one of them for less than $1 million nowadays, folks. Somewhere along the line come appreciation of the art, appreciation for the art.
So when there's art, it never dies.
Right.
And I saw, who's the author in the white suit, very stuck on himself, who wrote the Vanity of the Bond?
Tom Wolfe.
Tom Wolfe.
I did 2 of his movies.
Oh, did you?
Yep. I did. He did The Right Stuff. I was played a Texas oil millionaire in that for my good buddy. They were the nicest family, Peter and Phil Kaufman. Phil Kaufman directed that. Then he did Hemingway and Gellhorn. I was in that again.
Oh.
And
Yeah, you were gay in that one.
Yes, I was. And was there something wrong with that?
No. There's something wrong with you in that. I remember seeing that late at night. I'd never heard of the movie before.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're standing there at the bar.
Yeah.
I go, oh my gosh, that's Pritchard.
I was drinking. It was a drinking thing.
Oh, anyway, what I want to tell you, what Tom Wolfe said, and he made millions on that novel, and they made it into a movie. And,
Right.
But he said money is not worth anything, and he was talking about art. He said when he gets money, the only reason he gets it is to buy art, because art is priceless.
Right.
And if you know what you're buying, or you know what its appreciation is or depreciation, you'll be so wealthy and so rich in just having these pieces of art. That's hard to understand for guys looking for a $5 bill,
Right.
to buy a meal or something,
Right.
or a sandwich.
When you're in struggle, art is a luxury,
Yeah.
right? And I remember one time a guy gave me grief because I was wearing spandex riding on a bike, and he
gee.
goes,
Wait, I have to get that
he
picture.
goes, no,
What
spandex.
kind of bike was
He
it?
goes, a tricycle. And these
3 wheels.
None of your beeswax, bub. I didn't want to fall off. Oh, but I had spandex on, and the guy goes, oh, no. Spandex is a privilege, not a right. I'm not going to bring up that it looked like cottage cheese in a hefty bag, but tapioca
And what
pudding in a
is
body
it?
stack.
Don't tell me they filmed that.
No,
And it's-
no.
It's available today.
anything but him on a bike and spandex. Anything.
At a fire
you know.
sale.
And but if you are, make sure he's going away.
So, but you agree with Tom Wolfe? He apparently is a brilliant man,
Oh, yeah.
and
Brilliant writer, yeah.
and is worth a lot. I don't even know if he's still alive, but he made that point, and I thought when I see the kids going through the Academy of Art University,
Right.
and what they're doing I've always said that graduation can be one of the most boring ceremonies in the world.
It's true.
I mean, you graduate from college and 1,000 kids walk up, get a diploma, and they say their name and they flash a picture and they walk off the stage.
Right.
At the academy, they show the work of a lot of these students, and not just the graduate students, but they always have intermingled with handing the diploma. They always have some of their cartoon work, their advertising
Yeah.
work, their sewing skills, or jewelry, all kinds of things that the kids are able to make,
To create, yeah.
and they to make something from nothing.
Right.
So it's a blessing to be able to have the ability to do things creative.
I heard one of my friends is an artist, Marco, and he said, I said,
Now,
how
when
do
you always say one of my friends, it means you have two.
I have, well, one or two, anyway. Not him.
I'm
Now,
sorry,
obviously, after insulting me and interrupting me
Yeah, I'm sorry.
while I was making a fluid point. Anyway.
I
so-
apologize,
so
Lord.
you-
What's that comedian said? All those kids in Africa, Lord.
Stop. Sam Kinison.
Oh, that's it. Is that what he always said? Yeah.
But see, that's, here's the thing. This goes back to that thing we talked about a few weeks ago, which is cynicism. If you get to be a person covering in poisonous detail the discomfort of humanity, and in a way that doesn't guide them to solutioneering or light or optimism or faith, you then condemn yourself to that same thing that we were talking about. A cynic is somebody who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. And so if you get cynical, and if you can Google this, there are two studies, one out of Norway, one out of Sweden. Cynicism leads to dementia. Is if you believe in nothing, anything that you do believe in, you don't trust. Folks, that's not a good place to live. I mean, seriously, loving and serving a higher power, no matter what you call it. It could be the force is strong within you. But knowing that there's something, a higher power out there that does benevolently care about us. And
Believing in something or you'll end up with nothing.
believing in nothing, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And the same with how we use our words. If we're using biting sarcasm, that comes from sarcassimo, the tearing of flesh off the spirit. And one of the great gifts is, Mark Twain said, if you live with that in your container, you're doing acidic danger to yourself. This is why the word vituperative comes from sulfuric acid. It poisons the inside. Be gentle with other people. Be kind. Be thoughtful. Be respectful. Be loving.
Now,
be
what did
compassionate.
Mark Twain say that? What'd you call it? Your container?
Yeah, the container that your human spirit, if it contains both sarcasm and cynicism, they're toxins to the human spirit. And you're dissolving inwardly as opposed to creating outwardly. He, as a writer, went through he lost his daughter, Susan, Mark Twain, and he had become an inveterate cynic. But then his writing started to increase in its optimism and faith in things unseen and unknown, and his belief in people like Tesla, and writing things that were more optimistic and more appreciative. And he had a great deal of respect for General Ulysses Grant, because Grant had suffered so much and was a recovering alcoholic, even as he served in the presidency, and he had seen so much
Was he
preeminent death.
recovering when he was president? Or do you know that? Does
He
anybody
was.
know that?
He was essentially trying to curtail the depth of his depression, right? And that was the same with people don't know this about Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln lost his sister Sarah in childbirth, and she raised him, in Kentucky, and she was 18, and the baby passed, and he was 18, and she was, I think, 20s, and he had a melancholia, which is what they described it as, all of his life, all the way through, because life didn't seem to be fair. And this is what we call adverse childhood experiences, the trauma of seeing so much sadness and grief in your life early, that it's really important. That's why I love when I work with kids in probation and parole, even the older men or the younger kids. You know that it's a thing that rolls over. The sadness brings aggression. Unaddressed grief turns to anger, the anger to rage, the rage to violence, and pretty soon you got folks out there crying with bullets instead of tears. And so it's important for us to realize a true leader like Abraham Lincoln suffered incredible sorrows in his early life and chose to stay optimistic and stoic and tough and resolute and justice-oriented until the nation was bound back into the wisdom of peace and anti-slavery.
So to make that change in life was monumental for a guy like Lincoln.
Right.
I always thought he lived in Illinois. You said Kentucky. Was he born in
Yeah,
Kentucky?
he was born in Kentucky. He rode on the back of a shovel. Don't you remember that tale? That was right down by Cape Girardeau. Kentucky, right, the area. And he was, his family suffered. They were hard scrabble life, but he moved to Illinois, to Springfield. And, when you think back about that's where I always try to come back to that poem about binding the wounds of the nation together. And that's what he talked about, was we have to forgive, learn to forgive. That's Father Harry's phone letting me know to shut up.
No, it
It's
isn't.
a quack, quack, quack. Anyway. But that was, if you go to Springfield, Illinois, and see the tomb, you can feel it. You can feel his presence. I truly believe that.
I've been to Springfield before, but I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
I thought going to the Lincoln Memorial was about as much as you could say for paying respects and showing your appreciation for a man who you said was melancholic most of his life.
Yes. Yeah.
And then turned it around.
Optimistic and hopeful, and gave great, brilliant speeches. When he talked about Gettysburg, when he spoke, and I spoke at Gettysburg dozens of times to all the kids at Gettysburg University, you can almost feel there's spiritual presence there on that battlefield for sure.
I had, we're getting towards the end here. I had a classmate that I went to the seminary with, both out of grade school, and we went to high school together and
Right.
college together. And he was from South St. Louis. His name was Floyd. And Floyd and I were best friends. And I went to Rome to do my theology, and he stayed in Missouri. When we came back and met, we tried to be best friends again, but his whole psyche was different than mine. I mean,
Got it.
we couldn't have done two things differently when we were in high school and college. We just agreed on everything, or, little things we did.
Sure.
But we were so much alike. We had the same theology, the same philosophy, the same teachers. We were molded in a certain way. And then after a few years, he had left being a priest, and I met him at a meeting in Minnesota, and he had become a Buddhist. And I said, after all these years and all the things that you and I did together and the studies, I said, it would be really hard for me to pursue Buddhism or any other major belief. And he answered with one question. He said, well, as Catholics, you guys are always collecting things. You're collecting grace, merit, like merit badges. You have collections to do this and to do that. And even like clothes collections, food collections. He said, in the Buddhists where I'm, he said, we don't really believe in collecting anything. It's a whole different way of looking at yourself and at the world. So, made an impression on me. It didn't convert me.
No, me either. I have many friends who are Buddhists, and I work with them quite extensively in peace stuff and Baha'i as well, and in trying to teach that stuff. But what I always try to say is that you can, my rooted like you in the strong traditions of the Rosary and prayer and Mass and the sacraments. And getting, trying to do everything to get the kids to believe in the strong sense of faith is only knowing that the example is that's the answer. It isn't what you say; it's what you live in front of them and the grandkids as well. And that's why I love that moment with the grandkid when I handed the homeless guy the fin and he goes, "God bless you." I go, "Yeah, okay. Have a good day, Jesus." And I rolled the window up, and the grandkid goes, "Grandpa, that wasn't Jesus." And I go, "Well, I know that, Braun, but I go, I treat everybody like they are Jesus, and then that way I live what Jesus taught me to do, love your neighbor." And so I keep driving, and then Lee, thinking about it, he goes, "He's 5, Russian and Irish, so he's a thinker, before the vodka and Pacini." So he says, "No, he doesn't have that. He's 5, okay." But eventually, college, okay, enough said. But he says to me, "Grandpa?" I go, "Yeah, buddy, I get it." And I knew his heart and his spirit, his soul, had told them that, treat people nice.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. And that's what you've always done. That's what I've always done. Even,
Except that we don't do it to each other.
Well, that's your fault then.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be guiding me to a higher spiritual realm.
Yeah. That's why that halo over your head keeps blinking. Eat at Joe's, eat at Joe's. Like you're doing an advertisement for tall people.
If I could sell, neon for my halo, I would.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? Send a message. Blessed are the flexible, they shall not get bent out of shape. Semper Gumby.
Oh, well, we've had fun again, huh?
Yeah.
So,
Always.
see you guys again in a week, I guess. We'll try to be back and maybe with some new ideas, some new thoughts.
Say the
And
rosary.
If we don't, it's our fault.
Yeah, we'll be back. Much love.
It's the Padre and the Pritch, and thank you all for joining us. And take care of yourselves. God be with you.
Neighbor good is neighborhood. Neighborhood is neighbor good.
Wow.